Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Unglamorous Truths, the podcast about making it in the industry come hell or high water. I'm Chandra.
I'm Mevit.
I'm Crystal.
And today we are going to be talking about, do you ever stop surviving? And when we talk about surviving, we talk about survival jobs, not literally you surviving, of course, every day. So I kind of feel like there's this thing when you do your first industry job, when you get your first entertainment check, you're excited, you quit your survival job and you imagine that you will never, ever have to do anything else again. But we now know, we're not like veterans in the game, but like we're in it, we've been here, 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not it. And don't be working like that. The checks are inconsistent. You may work once in a year, not work again.
It's the freelancer way, right?
Right. And that's a way that we have to kind of change our thinking around entertainment, that you are freelancing, because so much of it is modeled off of like, my favorite person say Brad Pitt's career, right? And it's like, that's Brad over there. We're not going to all be Brad Pitt. We are freelancers. So I wanted to talk about, how we are currently surviving, like the work that we are doing outside of the industry. Because I think a thing that has always been important to us with starting this podcast is being really transparent about where we are. Like, we did not want to be putting on airs. We did not want to be just the success-driven model of like, we're winning. And I think a cool thing about talking about this today is we're going to talk about how working a survival job is not losing.
At all.
It's not.
At all.
It's taking control of your career. It's moving in an empowered energy. I don't have to be at the beck and call of every other check. I don't have to be struggling, So we'll start with you, Mevit.
What about me?
Yes.
What do I do outside of writing and acting?
What do you do outside of writing and acting?
So I write and produce for Condé Nast.
Yay.
Condé Nast Entertainment, and I cover brands like Vanity Fair and Teen Vogue and Them, and every now and then I've jumped on Vogue. And it's really like it's very still much entertainment, but I think it's very like Hollywood adjacent in a way. Especially in the like gig aspect of it all. It's not it's not the freelancer lifestyle that I'm used to as like an actor and writer, where I'm going from job to job to job. For the first year I was a freelancer, but it was like, this is a taboo word, but like permalance, where it's like you get
these are real job words. Permalance.
Corporate. Yeah, like
I don't even know what that means. Please
you're
tell me.
freelancer, so you do have autonomy, but you are
permalance.
Exactly. You are a permanent freelancer at this company. You get a check every week. But if you decide that, oh, hey, I am not available this week, you do not get paid.
Gotcha.
Right? So it's like you're still a freelancer. You can decline an opportunity. Like, oh, no, I'm not available for that.
But you don't got vacation days.
No vacation days as permalance. And then when I transitioned to full time, I actually had this conversation yesterday with my coworkers. It's like, this is such an interesting like gig, because it's like, it's still extremely creative. Like, I am a producer. I still write creative, but I get the benefits of stability on top of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm still on set. I still work with incredible talent. Like, we make incredible videos. But it doesn't come with the same stress of like, when's my next gig coming?
Yeah.
When am I gonna get paid?
And so you're in your second year.
Yeah, I'm in my second year. Mm-hmm. If you've ever watched Vanity Fair's like lie detector tests, Teen Vogue's like compliment battles, quiz show, notes in a scene, all those concepts, like I work on those concepts.
And one thing that I love is like when you talk about the work that you're doing, like you brighten, like you really enjoy it.
Well, I mean, I do. I thoroughly enjoy what I do, and like it fulfills the artistic part of me that I feel like hasn't for a long time been fulfilled. That like you incubate something for a long time in like development, right? You're right. You create a project, and like your goal is to share it with the world. Mm-hmm. And with development, so much of it dies before the world gets to see it.
Yeah.
You know, you create an idea, you sell a pilot, you make that pilot, and then they're like, nope. Like, there's so many different humps.
2 years of your work, nobody's ever going to see.
Yes. And so it was like creative blue balls of like, I need to get something off. And so to have an outlet where I get to see something from baby stage to like this grown project, and everyone gets to see it and enjoy it. I love that. I really love that.
And how did you get the job?
Through NYU, the gift that keeps on giving. My boss is a NYU alum, and she literally sent out an email on the listserv of like, hey, it was very vague. Like, I had no idea what this was. But I had first like set an intention. Like, this is when we were working on our first feature, and I was like, I have bandwidth here. Like, I could easily do what I'm doing of just like, I could have just sat and allowed those checks to support me and just, you know, oh, I'm just a writer, I'm thinking of new ideas. But I made a very clear distinction that like, I have bandwidth and I need to figure out what to do with it. And so I was like, I need to find a creative job. Saw this email, I think it was very much so in alignment, because it's like, I had decided top of the year, this is what my goal is for this quarter. I need to find something. It was very, like, to myself, because I was like, all right, let me just, like, really hone this energy. Email came in, and I was like, yeah, that's for me. That's mine. Emailed her, and, like, my first meeting, she's like, wait, like, you do all these other things. Like, why do you want to, like, produce for us? Like, why do you want to do this? And I was like, well, like, I'm on a script right now, and a lot of it is just me, like, in the house. Like, every now and then we'll get on notes calls, but, like, I have time. Like, I'm not a mom, like I'm single, like I don't really, this is the time for me to like do something else.
You had abandoned pottery.
No, I didn't. I fulfilled my obligations. Okay, I had 3 P's that like I was starting last year: pottery, Pilates, and painting. Now the painting I do not do, but the Pilates and the pottery I did. I signed up for a class. It was like a 3-month class.
I mean, girl, you was painting in that Southside character, so
period.
That bitch did paint.
But no, that don't count. Okay. I did not do the painting. But I did do my pottery.
Okay.
I made my bowls. I did that, and it was very important for me to get a job that allowed me to use my skills. Like, I didn't want a job that was mindless, and no shade to those kinds of jobs. I just feel like my goal here is to get a creative outlet that allows me to share something with people, not just make money, because you can make money doing so many different things. I want to be very intentional with how I spend my time.
And can I tell you how I know you in your 30s? Because you didn't lie to them people in your interview.
No, like, I didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you was in your 20s, you'd have went in there and been like, well, actually, this is what I want to do.
This is the career for me.
Yeah.
And I went to school for journalism. Or,
right.
I don't know, whatever
I want to, like, I am a server. Like, that is I want to be a general manager of a fine dining restaurant. Like, what? You know they actors. What are you talking about? Right. And my boss is a writer as well. Like, and that's how we bonded. Like, she has worked with many of the same companies that I worked with. She worked with Sobini.
Gotcha.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Tyler is her best friend.
So Sobini is a company that we had worked with, that we had wrote a feature with. And so I think it's cool because didn't you like reach out to him? It's like, oh,
no, she did. She when she saw my application, she was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna call him immediately." And I was like, "Who's this girl?" And he was just like, "She's amazing. I don't know why she wants this job, but like, she's amazing." And so it was just easy.
See, but and that's why you got on every job.
Relationships.
You gotta do your best on every job because you never know who the fuck is gonna be putting you where you need to be. I know who friends with who.
Yep. I was very honest, and like she was very supportive. She was like, this could be as little as like just a gig or as much as something that you want to grow in. Just let me know and I can facilitate that for you. Like if you want to become a director here, like a video director, then I can make that happen. And I was like, I love that. And I was like, well, let's see how the like writing creative and producing goes. And if I'm into it, then yeah, let's have that conversation. And very, very supportive. Everyone, even when we launched the podcast, like my big boss was a fan. She's like, where do you shoot? This looks so great. Like, I love this. Because it's like, she's an executive producer. Everyone has come from, like, entertainment.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's the greatest, like, intersection for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, Miss Boyden Lang, and Crystal is feeling a bit under the weather today, guys. And so she has a deep voice, and I love that.
Yeah,
you sound like me in the
really
morning.
good.
That's good.
That's where we are. Yeah, I'm losing my voice. Fuck this LA weather.
It's going to be like 83 today.
80 at 2, 50 at fucking, 9. And my voice don't like it, but it's okay. We're almost done.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing outside of here to get your money? Or not outside of here, but outside of, writing
money
and
for my
acting.
check. No.
No. No, you're paying. Carry on.
I do 2 things mainly. I run a business called How to Pitch TV. And it is my baby. It's something I've had a joy in creating. And to me, it's a testament to the phrase we like to say, leap and the net will appear. Last year, I was just like, there's something else I need to be doing to be bringing in income, but also like taking inventory of the things I love to do and my gifts and where things weren't being fulfilled and where I could supplement. And I realized that, at the time, it was literally a combination of things I was naturally doing. People always have been, I probably hit you up too, but always hitting me up. Can you read this for me? Give me feedback. Can you read this script? How could I make this better? I had helped a few friends with pitches, like actually walking them through how to pitch. From obviously all of our wealth of experience. I realized when I did it that I loved it. Like, I was just like, oh, I really enjoy seeing this person get excited and like their eyes like brighten. Like, oh, I figured that out. I feel having someone feel more confident when they leave like something that I'm helping them with just makes me feel so good. Like, I'm just like, yes, success. Yes. Like, we're getting there, Yeah, that's kind of where the idea came from. I was like, there isn't really a space for this. Like, we've told our story before. We learned in a mansion in Bel Air or somewhere, and, it was a who you know type of thing. And I was just like, I feel like it's the right merging of my creative gifts, an idea of something that can grow that I have control over. No one can say it's not greenlit or take it away from me. I can build it at the scale that I want. And it merges a little bit of old activist Crystal in there because I'm able to
advocate,
provide access.
Yeah.
And that is what has been my greatest joy is the people that I've been working with ever since I launched How to Pitch have been amazing creatives, fucking brilliant individuals, women, queer people, people of color. And they're just like, I just need tools. I just need to go from here to here. And I'm like, bitch, I got you.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
And so kind of providing that space that, we got a long time ago. So that's been awesome. And the thing that is really exciting is me deciding to, before I felt ready or like knowing how to run a business or any of that, which is a huge thing for me.
I was just about to ask, what have been the challenges of like starting up?
Learning how to run a business and like understanding the financials of that. And like, I'm not on payroll with that. Like, it's like, what do you do? How do you start? Like, how do you set aside money in this account? How do you make sure you have accounting handled here? How do you provide an offer for people that people want to buy? Like, it's marketing. It's all these things. And it's creating content. And, like, it's like...
Yeah, how do you figure out a consultation, like the proper consulting rate?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
When I started, I hit up a few friends of mine that are, like, business women, and I just like took them out for tea and got a lot of great feedback, did a lot of research. People sent me comps. They were like, this is a whole new space. There's no one online that's doing what you're doing. I literally was able to get the domain howtopitchtv.com, which was wild to me. I was like, now what? Yeah. Okay. But the comps were for rates. They were like, people were sharing with me, oh, when you do this type of masterclass, or if you do a membership program style, or if you do like a one-day offer, these are comparable to people that have your type of experience.
Yeah.
So that helped me set my rates. And I set them, that was a challenge of like, set them high. set them high. This is a niche expertise situation. If you want to pay for it, you'll pay for it. And I found every time people do pay for it. So it's actually really wonderful for me because it's aligning with my value and I'm providing value. And that's dope. I didn't get to the second part of what I do, which unfolded from creating How to Pitch. Because I was working on How to Pitch, I had all these materials. I had a pitch deck, I had a website, I had a domain, all of this. And it magnetized other opportunities to me. Like, literally people have been reaching out to me and being like, oh, this is your thing? Okay, you should probably look into this. And, like, that's how I found out about being a professor at NYU. I didn't even know they had an LA campus, like, let alone were offering classes, hiring for that. And I forget who it was. Was it you? Yes, bitch, you did. She sent me this opportunity. It was like, this feels like it would fit with you. Wasn't it from the NYU listserv? NYU listserv be giving the popping jobs.
100K is gonna go a long way.
You know what? Let me dip back in because they used that West Side Rental situation ran me off that listserv. There was a time where everybody was just asking for West Side Rental logins. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was just it ran me away. But.
But this wasn't even the emails. This was the the ones that come from
the career
office. Yeah.
Shout out to Courtney.
Yeah.
Courtney who runs alumni, a career office who is gang. Yes, you saw that and you sent it to me. And I think I had noticed it because something in my spirit was like, start checking these. I had always deleted them. But I was like, let me start looking at what Courtney is sending out. And it said NYU professor. And so I was like, thank you. And yes, I'm there. So I applied to that. And it's similar to what you said, Meb, of, first of all, thank God I had the pitch deck because it was all due quickly. Like and if I hadn't already been in a mindset of growth, like this stuff, let me have materials ready, I wouldn't have been ready. So I sent my pitch deck about how to pitch. I sent my resume. I sent our stuff. Got an interview. When I met Nina, hey Nina, literally instant vibe. Instant vibe. She's a creative, similar to your boss. She's a writer. She's a novelist. She said, I just started doing this and getting into like education and arts 2 years ago. She said, I've been writing books my whole life by myself in my office. She's like, I miss people. She's like, I was fucking lonely.
Oh, wow.
And so she was like, I was looking for another way to connect with people. And like, as a creative, sometimes we need that. And so she is that bitch. I mean, to put it plainly, like she's sold a lot of best-selling novels and stuff. And she also has sold some shows a long time ago. But like, she was looking for something different and they hired her to run the LA department. And so it was perfect because she saw me. The interview was like, oh, you're a vibe. She wanted to hire a vibe. She didn't want to hire like, oh, I've got everything together. Like she was just like, you're creative. That's what I want. I want a creative in this position. I want someone who's actively working right now in development that can actually give them game they need. It's kind of how I made it through the rounds. And she told me, we met at DuPass, which is people like to say is a low-key industry spot. But we met there and she was like, Crystal, I'm going to tell you something. You beat out like over 150 people for this job. Wow. And she said, I want to be clear. Most of them were older white men with tons of experience. She was like, this position requires someone who is ready to ride the wave of where we are at now. And she's like, I don't need someone with a bunch of credits from 20 years ago or worked late night, in 2001. I need fresh because our students need fresh.
Yeah, and need to know what's coming next.
Yes. Yes. And so I was just like, oh, I loved that. You told me I beat a white man? Oh, come on now. Come on. I win. Okay. So anyway, long story short, that was my very first semester of writing the comedy pilot was last spring. And it was so fulfilling and like a joy.
To be specific, that is the class that you teach, how to write the comedy pilot.
How to write the comedy pilot. It's every spring, so I'm not teaching now, but she invited me back, so I'm gonna be teaching again in the spring. So fun. Yeah. I'm hanging out with Gen Zers all day. I'm learning what's in the streets.
Yeah.
Right? I'm learning what's new. They teaching me shit. And I felt like I could really add value to their lives because they have really raw, interesting stories. And because it's NYU, they're actually hungry. Yeah. They're not, this is not, community college, like dragging them to work. They're like, what can I do? And just so excited.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I ask myself.
Little mogul.
Oh, you gonna ask me?
Okay. Yes. Let's talk about your empire.
Yeah, I know. My empire. So no.
My empire.
Yeah, no. My side situation is not at all. It's not creative like y'all's. I invest in multifamily properties. I'm a landlord. But no, it's something I actually really wanted to do for a long time. Like really since like 2015, I wanted to, but I didn't have any money. And you need a little capital to get into real estate, or you can be very clever. But you need capital, no matter if it's $10,000, if it's $100,000. Like it's hard to get into real estate without a little money. So I didn't have any money. I was broke, but I did have ambitions. And then after we had shot the pilot, I had a little bit of money, Southside pilot. That was like 2017, and I was like looking at all the areas. Like, oh my God, the vision was on 1,000. Like, I was looking at it. I was making a lot of smart choices. However, I was so scared with my money. I was like, well, I don't know. Shit, God forbid, I need to just hold on to what I got right now. Like, I need to just be clinging. And also, if you've listened to this podcast before, I was in tremendous debt. So I had to deal with that first. But that's really one of my biggest regrets, that I didn't just like leap and do these things, because I'd be in an amazing situation right now. But then finally, stopped being scary. Also, did some seasons, had a little more capital. And I think it was with 2020. Yeah, started purchasing properties. And, now I got a, little portfolio going together. And I don't know, it's fun. I like buying buildings. People gonna always need a place to live, right? Why I prefer multifamily, because it's like, it's too hard to buy a house right now, and so it's always gonna be people who need to rent.
Why would you say it's too hard to buy a house for those that are not in the
real estate single family right now? Well, because the market is a mess. Right now, the interest rates are crazy. They're super high. Everything's like above 7. But then also the prices of single family homes haven't realigned to suit. So everyone's kind of still riding the wave of, right? Like during COVID, there was like a huge increase. So if you sold a property during COVID, you made guap. Yeah. Right? Because there was such a low inventory, so you could really charge a lot. And inventory is still tight right now. It's still tight because older people can't afford to move out of their homes, right? Like this is the time people would be downsizing. But the rates are so crazy. If you refinance during COVID and you have like a 3.9% interest rate, like you're not about to sell your shit and then go buy something else and get a 7.
Yeah.
Nope. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to play with that. So no one's moving. Yeah. Everyone's holding on to the property that they have. So inventory is still low, but rates are high. So motherfuckers are charging outrageous amounts, in my opinion, for these single family homes. And then you're going to have this nasty ass, mortgage rate on top of that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
for sure.
And even if you're paying all cash, people aren't even dropping the prices as far as you would want them to if you were walking in and being like, all right, I'm gonna give you $300,000. I know you asked me to pay $600, but I'm paying all cash. So can we drop this to half? Motherfuckers be like, no, I would pay $550. So single family, it's kind of nasty. But also, in truth, the interest rates that we had for years were like not real, and I think a lot of people are thinking that is the status quo, like the 5%, the 4%, like that was already a correction from the market crash in 2008, right? So that was like historic lows. Yeah, like that's not the standard. What we're in now is really more of the standard, and it would be fine if it wasn't like also, hey, it's $1 million for 800 square feet,
right?
You're not even a full bathroom. You have a half bath.
Something has to give. Right. We can't have outrageous home prices and then outrageous interest prices, because it's like, who's gonna
on top of that, inflation for every other part of life. Fucking going to buy gum.
Gas is $7 in LA, so like, make it make sense.
Girl, I went to fill up my tank the other day, and let me tell you, that thing hit $80, and I just stopped. I said, "Oh, what the fuck?" Yeah. Cut. This is a small car. You've lost your goddamn mind. Like,
we're definitely in a bubble And I think that, unfortunately, I think that's why it's good to talk about this. Get your income right. Find another stream of income. In the meantime, be practical, be sensible, because it's going to crash. It's going to crash. Not to be ominous, but like that guy. Okay, so I learned something because, you know, my boyfriend does stocks and trading, and he be in the news constantly. So the guy that did the Big Short.
Big Short, I knew you was going to talk about Big Short,
The guy that did Big Short,
yeah.
he's back. And he's shorting again. And to be clear, for those who don't know what shorting is, it's saying you're betting that things will fail and crash in the economy. You're betting that everything's going to fall apart and you're going to make money off of that bet. He's back and he is betting wildly that everything's about to fall apart again. So, I mean, we know it's here. Everyone is fucking tight. It's strapped. And apparently in market research, they have been finding that people have been it's been really hard for people to scale back from their lifestyle, even though there's inflation. And so people have been putting stuff on credit cards. What happens when collectively everyone is putting things on credit cards to keep their life going, and then they one day wake up and they're like, oh, my credit card's filled up, I don't have no more space. Things are going to fall apart, is what's
I don't know, but they're also saying that we beat a recession.
They be lying.
So, and you know what the thing, so I like also went on a big deep dive of that man, you know. It's tricky. Everybody do your own research. You know, we ain't no damn financial advisors. We don't advise shit. We just talk. We literally, what we do is we pop shit.
Okay.
That's it. Go do your fucking research. Click, clack on your own. You won't be blaming me for shit. But like I also, you know, because Reddit is my best friend. And so, and that's really also to talk about where I learned about investing. I learned a lot of shit off Reddit. I'm going to tell you the truth. Reading a bunch of books and Redditing, because I don't really know. I don't have like a huge community of, you know, real estate investors. So, you know, I've been making friends on Reddit. But anyway, so I went on a deep dive. And so there's like, you know, some contention because there's also a whole group of people that's like, this man, he was right about that thing, but he's been wrong about many things in between here and now, whatever. Don't just blindly listen to this man. So do your click clack. But Big Short Man, he did say, it's the one that Christian Bale played, if y'all are familiar with the movie. He did say we back. That we back. So I have a question. Now, when you guys were, you know, choosing to do these things, because maybe I know you said that you know, were quiet about it at first. Like, was there ever a moment where the shame monster popped in and was like, or an imposter came in and was like, you know, are you giving up on your dream by getting a job?
I never felt like I was giving up because I didn't. Like, it never interfered, and I was so wholly transparent in what I was doing and why I was doing it. And, like, I made sure that everyone was enrolled in the same vision as me.
That's the key.
Yeah. Like, I am a writer-performer, and this is my career. And I don't want to come into a space with you if you don't accept that. Because then I won't be upholding the integrity of this work.
Right.
So as long as we're on the same page here, then yes, let's make beautiful art together. And I approach the work as an artist as well. Like, it's very different, even though it is very much like a corporate space. Like, the way that I think and the way that I approach creative is from artistic sensibility of like, I don't see how this concept works like this, and this. Like, I understand from like, you know, the brand and like you guys with your like titles and your positions, like you just in your analytics, but as an artist, this is what I think.
Right.
Like, and like building it, even like it's YouTube shows, but I'm like, where's the conflict? Like that is what's going to make it engaging. Like what are we overcoming here? What are formidable obstacles? And these are things that we employ in writing.
Yeah.
And like, this is how we're going to retain our audience. A lot of times, like, you just put celebrities in front of a screen. It's like, and that's what's going to, like they bring in a significant amount of eyes. Yeah. So it's like, okay, like, how can we supplement
and elevate this situation? Yeah.
And I feel like that's my value add.
Yeah, I will say what was difficult for me with how to pitch and launching it was being face forward in that capacity. Like, we already are face forward in our careers as actors and creators and writers, and us taking meetings and being public in that way. And so to be public in a way where it's purely for a business that's of service, but like content is king and you must create, like that is, you can't low key start your own e-commerce business and be like, but you're not gonna see me though. That's not how shit works right now.
Yeah.
It's a very tough model to crack. There are a few people that have cracked it, but it is rare. Like, you are, it would be different if, like, I was selling knitted crocheted something on Etsy, right? That's a product-based business. It will sell for me. It can be, the photos can be online. Even then, people still be shooting content.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm also in a Reddit for Etsy sellers.
Yes.
And, the biggest thing they're like, if you want to make money, your social media needs to be
popping. Yeah. And how could I saying I want to coach and help you learn how to pitch and use your voice, and I am not in videos using my voice? Outrageous, right? We need examples. So that was a hump for me to get over, and I have to admit, sometimes it brought some shame where I was like, oh my God, this takes so much time in my day. Like, I have to have content days now. I have to have days where I'm creating ideas for the content. And I'm like, am I getting too far away from my original thing of being an actor, creator, if I'm really creating business days in my week for this?
Yeah.
It can feel like sometimes I'm two worlds at the same time. And I also don't want my many hats I wear ever to get too overwhelmed by a business brain or like a logistic get the business done, and I'm neglecting the creative brain,
right?
And I'm like, all I have left at the end of the day is like an hour for the creative. I don't ever want to be in that situation. So it's balance. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of talking about this the other day, where a thing that I have learned is that I have to do the creative stuff earlier in the day. And then I can do, the stuff for the buildings. I can deal with all that tennis. I can do that at night. Because I don't, I used to be much more creative in the evenings. Like I'm a night owl, so I much prefer to be, writing at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. But now that I have kids, it doesn't work the fucking same. And I really have so few hours, period. So that has been like a struggle for me, just trying to do everything. But that was going to be a struggle no matter what I was doing, because once you have kids, it's always a struggle. How can you do everything? But one thing I've learned is that creative stuff has to be in the daytime with the fresh brain, really untampered with brain, that's just like
pure,
alive. Yeah. And then at night, I can do the stuff that's more like by road. That's basically data entry. That who the fuck is late on their brand. Let me send you your 5-day notice.
Yeah,
because I will send you that 5-day notice. But yeah, and then I've noticed that in the day, I have to do the creative.
Yeah.
And while there is no shame, like, I think it's really important to dismantle the shame that comes along with having a job outside of a career that you set out for yourself. I think a lot of that dismantling is in tapping into purpose. And a distinction that I have made for myself, and a realization actually, is that like in your 20s, like, I mean, there's a lot of people that are very clear from the beginning about what their life is going to look like, and like, God bless them, they're visionaries. But a lot of people really get attached to like a career, right? And then I think once you cross the threshold of 30s, God willing, you tap into purpose.
Yes. Yep. Ooh.
Yep.
Bars.
And I mean, it comes from like being naive, of just like, you're picking careers at a tender age of like 17. Like, you're picking majors, and you're getting internships, and you're kind of following those paths. And it takes a little life experience to realize, okay, but what's my purpose? And there's also people that have found success in the career choice of like, they picked career, made a shit ton of money, and then they're like, well, I'm so unhappy.
And they pivot.
In my Mercedes.
Yeah, right.
I hate my life. Seriously. So like, it's not just artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? And I think what I've really enjoyed is learning that I could find purpose in other things.
Yes.
And find joy in other things. Because even in terms of like buying properties, my realtor, she was asking me about like specific areas, like, and why was it important to buy in certain areas, and what, and I was like, well, it's really important for me to buy in predominantly Black areas so that I can provide quality living situations for Black and brown people. because I don't slumlord. I don't play that shit. Like, I know I could make way more money if I do, but I couldn't have that on my heart. You know, I lived in 1990 Lexington. I lived in a slum before.
Yes.
I could never slum people out. You know what I'm saying? And some of the building, you know, that I get, then we have to, you know, fix it up because it is bought in a slum condition. But that breaks my heart to see, you know, a single black mom with her 3 kids and the fucking sink won't stop running. You know, just seeing sick stuff like that. And so it's really important to me to provide quality and also nice. Like, you should have nice shit too. You know, like, because I feel like when you come home to something nice, it affects everything else about your day.
Absolutely.
You know, you're like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yes, this is why I'm getting up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is why I'm getting up and going out and grinding.
Yeah.
Like, my children live in a safe place. I don't have to be stressed. And then I don't have to be as mean to them, you know, because it's like, I feel good about what I'm providing.
Security.
Yeah.
Massive.
Right. And to do that, it's like, get to the root of it. It's like, I had to question, I mean, I say it a lot, like in my like therapy journey of like unpacking everything and putting a question mark onto everything that I thought had a period on it. I'm just like, why am I doing this? Why do I have this? Why is this here? And I was like, okay, I have decided that I want to be an artist. Why? Why? Really answer that and be specific about that. And the answer was, I want to connect with people through story. I'm a really strong storyteller. And stories help people.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you grow. That's how you learn.
Yes.
Okay. Is writing and acting the only way to achieve that? No. So it freed me and allowed me to find that in other spaces.
Yes.
And so I don't feel beholden to one job. And it's like, and then if that job isn't going the way that I want it to go, my life isn't going the way that I want it to go. Now I'm depressed? Absolutely not.
Right.
Depression, you had one hold on me, and that's the last.
I know that's right.
Very much so the last.
You
like, we're
had
not.
your time.
You had it, babe. You had
Yes.
it. Great chokehold. We're done.
Yes.
Great fucking time you had, babe.
Yeah.
And I think what you said about purpose, that makes me think about when I peeled back that as well, just like, what is it? Like, the mode of expression can shift, but the purpose, what is it, right? And for me, that's why I was so passionate, guys, on that other episode about The Little Mermaid, because the throat, right? For me, my purpose is in finding my own voice in process as life continues, because finding it and developing it and evolving it, but also helping other people to find their own voice. I was just talking to my boyfriend about this last night. We are in a society where if you believe them, they will convince you that what you have to say is not enough. And each and every one of us is taught to wear masks, especially in our 20s.
We wear the mask.
You know? And like, part of my joy is letting people realize, or help guiding them to like, oh, you can just drop the mask here. Like, what you want to say in your purest voice, the real you, the authentic you, that's where we want to start in this work. Like, everything else can be left at the door. And I feel like people need guidance with that. It's very difficult. Not everyone is blessed to have either going to art school like we did, that gave us some time for that, or coming from homes that were super supportive with creativity, where it was a little bit more encouraged. Like, sometimes people just don't know how to start, and they just need like a little bit of assurance. And I love doing that.
And a path. Let me out a path. And I've also noticed that doing other things is making my work better, because I'm gaining perspective, just getting experience, having something else to talk about. Because when you're just in the bubble sometimes of just writing and acting, like, your world can kind of be small, almost. Like, you don't really know what's going on, you know.
And your energy is also small.
Yeah.
Your energy can be very desperate.
Yes.
And that energy does not beget better energy at all, and opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget, like, in college, I was an intern at a casting office, and I had the pleasure of watching Viola Davis audition for Eat, Pray, Love. And I did not know who she was at that time, but I was like, I don't know who this woman is, but I know this role is hers. That's what I know. As an intern, just the energy that she possessed. But then, like, I saw another woman, and she shall not be named, but that energy was very desperate. It was, I need this job.
Well, you know, Agent Orange didn't give me much, but I remember there was a time where I was really going through it. I was like coming to the office with such like a bad energy, and you know, and she's like, what's going on with you? Like, this is not like you. And I just broke down and I started crying, and I was like, I don't have a job right now, and I'm scared that I'm about to have to go back to Chicago because I have really blown through my money.
Yes.
I probably can afford 2 more months here. And you know, I don't know what the fuck is doing. I'm doing everything you say to do. I'm fucking mailing out the things to casting. I'm going to the auditions. I'm doing my best, and nothing is fucking happening for me. So is this for me or is it not? And they helped me get a job, but the thing that she gave me, she was like, you can't focus on your craft if you have to spend so much energy surviving.
Yes.
And if you don't know how you're going to be able to do it. She was like, you need a job so you know that the survival part is taken care of. And now you can blossom as an artist.
Yes.
And it was so real. It's like,
she was right.
Yeah.
She was right.
And it's a really delicate balance. It's tough. And no one's here judging as well. Like, we've all been in the desperate position as well. Like, it is very hard to get yourself out of that and to change your energy. And it always happens for the better.
Yes.
It really does. Like, once you are no longer attached to an outcome, and like, I am not defined by this. I'm going to be good with or without this. Because I have value to add to this. I'm standing in my value.
Yes.
That does not bring me the value. I bring that the value.
Yes. Yes.
That's when things grow.
Yeah. And I don't know if you had a bootleg fabulous today, but we have been through the fire, y'all. And we have been tested, and we've been those women, young women in our 20s, scrambling around New York and then LA in survival jobs and restaurant jobs and all of that. And we are on the other side of another chapter. It doesn't mean it's easier, but it's different.
so different.
It's different of now finding jobs where the synergy of creativity can meet stability, can meet purpose, right? But for those that are in their 20s that are just like, bitch, I can't get it. I can't teach at NYU right now. Or I can't work at Condé Nast. I don't have the credits yet, right? I can't build a housing global empire. I'm not there yet. What can we offer to people in their 20s that are about the survival process? I think you said something beautiful, Chandra. You said, just get the job. Like, get the job and get that out the way so you can pay your bills, so you have space to carve out just to play and be creative. You can't do that out of order.
Yeah. For sure, get the job. Like, I was a waitress for we were both waitresses for a very long time. And, like, there is no shame in paying your bills. And if someone is out there trying to shame you, truly, with all my heart, fuck them. Like, that's nonsense, because they don't pay your bills. In addition to having that job, really do your best to tap into your purpose. And you do that by get to know yourself. You must silence the noise. The internet is loud.
Yes.
Don't get swept up in it. Set a timer on your social media. Let it lock up after an hour or so. Like, oh, that's it. I've had my fill for the day. Like, create boundaries with yourself so that you can create boundaries with the world.
Yep. I would say during the survival job thing is do a good job. I think you should work your best to do a good job in whatever you're doing. Whatever. Always do a good job. But understand that this is a job, right? It's not your career, so you should not be taking that home. You know, you had a rough day serving. You should not be carrying whatever customer Joe Slacko said to you, to your car, to your house, crying, all that shit. Shake that shit off, okay? You went in there, you was playing a role, okay? You played a role, you did your scene, shake it off, go home. But don't let that shit change who you are. You know, don't wear it. Don't give it more power than it should have in your life.
This too shall pass. It will pass. Them 20-something survival jobs, they will pass. If you stay down, you're persistent, you'll look up and be like, okay, I paid all my bills and I built this career brick by brick, and I'm in a place now where maybe I don't need to work a server job. Maybe I can leverage some of all the other work I did into a different type of credit. But you just gotta keep going.
Yeah, and for our people who are not fresh out of college, for our people who are 20 years into hustling their way in, and all of a sudden wake up and it's like, oh shit, I need to go do something to get money. Do not be ashamed. You are not a failure. You are an empowered person choosing to support yourself, your family, your life, your vacations, your bag addiction, your shoe collection, whatever the fuck it is, you are not a failure.
Yeah, because the worst thing that can happen is that it doesn't go the way that you planned. That's okay. Get up. That's okay. Like, this is, it's not that serious. Life is not that serious.
Like when I applied for a job at a plant shop and did I tell you how I didn't get that job?
Oh, like when I applied to work at the bank and I got rejected. I said,
God said no thanks.
These are all recent things. These are all recent things. We're going to wrap it up. But yeah, Crystal and I, we recently did apply for some jobs. You know, during the strike, I went to work at a plant shop. I love plants. I'm obsessed. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a great job for me. It's like part-time, not a bunch of hours. I was like, this is going to be fantastic. Had a great interview. They really acted like they were going to hire me. And I'm like, you should not. Also, if you're out here interviewing people, let me tell you something. Do not talk to the people as though you already gave them the job. Because then they go home thinking that they got that job. And then they follow up with you and you talking about something, you went in a different direction. Now I'm confused, bitch.
Not professional gaslighting.
Okay, exactly. Because I'm ready to egg your location. Yes. Okay, but it's fine. That job wasn't for me.
That bank wasn't for me.
It wasn't. This job was for us. And our other jobs. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I am Chandra. You can find me at Chani.
I'm Emebit. You can find me at EmebitBayane.
I'm Crystal. You can find me at _Chris.
And we are Unglamorous Truths, and you can find us at Unglamorous Truths on all the social medias, and you can listen to our podcast wherever you find yours. Bye.